Hello and welcome to another weird rendition of Bomb Squad Movie Night, the bonus casts. I am your host and master of ceremony for this evening, Mr. Joseph Henry Vrenick, and today I have with me.
Hi, I'm Austin Zwiebelman.
That pause there. Who wants to go next? There's two of you.
I'm Tanner
Tim
Richard
Sullivan.
Okay.
All right, Tim, go first. Tanner, then go next.
Tim.
Made the same weak joke twice in the joke.
All right, Tanner's here. Tim's here. All right.
Tanner Richard Kraft.
All right, thank you, Tanner. Very cool. Anyway.
Tanner Richard Kraft.
All right, this podcast is off to a very weird start, if you will, which is very appropriate because today we're talking about Weird, the Al Yankovic story, the hit Roku channel original. They're probably very happy for the press here. So, before we get started on talking about the movie, we got to talk about the man, the myth, the legend himself, Weird Al Yankovic. A very big part, very influential comedian, musician, like one of the biggest names around. Still like really funny to this day, still relevant. Everybody knows Weird Al. Everybody loves him. So we're gonna start off with our history with the man because I believe everyone here has some sort of history with Weird Al Yankovic, so we're going to start with Tim. Tell me, what's your history with Weird Al Yankovic?
So I really liked his role in Rob Zombie's Halloween 2.
I guess.
No, but my history with him is kind of brief. I mostly knew him as the guy who did Amish Paradise because that was a song that me and my brother had downloaded when I was 12. So I listened to that over and over again, way before I knew what Gangster's Paradise was.
Yeah.
And, his other songs I kind of just ended up finding later through cultural osmosis. I did watch a stand-up, I guess, but a musical performance, like a musical special that he did for Comedy Central a few years ago, where he did some of his hits like Eat It, Fat, of course, Amish Paradise. And yeah, he's just always been sort of this cultural figure that you can't help but appreciate. I used to watch the Comedy Central series at midnight, and he would come on sometimes as one of the people on the dais. And I remember there was an episode he was on where his buzzer, whenever he would press the buzzer, it would just make the "oh wah" sound from Down with the Sickness. So that's a reference. But yeah, pretty simple history on my end. Back to you, Joe.
Well, that's very simple and very nice story there, Tim. Tanner, how about you? You got a nice little story about your history with Weird Al?
My history with Weird Al, I'm not sure. There's not really a story to it necessarily. I think I've just always been aware of who the man is. Let's say this somewhat as a story. As an adult, when someone asks me what my favorite song is, I usually answer one of two songs. I either say Rocket Man by Elton John, or I say Space Oddity by David Bowie. Both for similar reasons. I feel like they're songs that, while accidentally, convey how it feels to be autistic. Point being is that when you ask me what my favorite song is, I pick a song that feels like almost like a personal anthem to me, in a sense. In that vein, my favorite song, if you were to ask me as a 6th grader, I would have answered with White and Nerdy, because that was a personal anthem to me in the 6th grade. And I didn't even understand half the bullshit he was saying in that song. I didn't know what the fuck World of Warcraft is yet. I didn't know what D&D was yet. But, you watch the music video and he's out there wearing a fucking Poindexter ass getup. And he's like, I'm white and nerdy. I think I'm white and nerdy. I don't know why I'm nerdy.
Walking out looking like Pete Timmerman.
Yes, literally. From those opening bars, they see me mowing my front lawn, and as a 6th grader, I went, "That's my personality." I had never mowed the lawn before, but I decided that it was my personality. So I've just always been aware of who Weird Al is. My favorite song of his might be White and Dirty, but all of his parodies are genuinely great. I also think he's a fantastically talented accordion player. Like, put all the parody music aside, while he is a brilliant parody writer, I just think his actual skills with the accordion are world class, and I don't think he gets enough credit for that. He is a genuinely incredible accordion player. Like, you should look up like some accordion solos he's done at like his concerts and stuff. He's gifted with that thing. But no, I just like all of his music. Eat It. The Nirvana song, Smells Like Nirvana. I think that's what it's called.
Yeah.
Weird Al as a cultural figure is just one of my favorite things because he's just so funny while like having a very unproblematic history. The only earth-shattering thing like he's ever done, like the only thing I have ever seen people complain about Weird Al for is people being confused when they discover he isn't Jewish. That's like the only even remotely negative thing I've heard associated with Weird Al, and that's not even a negative thing. That's just people's worldviews being shattered. Ethan Hawker specifically told me that when he found out Weird Al wasn't Jewish, it like genuinely destroyed his worldview. But yeah, that's all I got with Weird Al. White and Nerdy was my favorite song when I was 13. Back to you, Joe.
All right, that was a very fun little story. How about Austin? He's always got some fun little stories to tell. Tell us your history with Weird Al, my friend.
For me, Weird Al really became a fixture in my life when I was 12. Parkway Northeast Middle, I was in 7th grade. I had some kind of class in a computer lab early one morning, and YouTube wasn't blocked. So one day, somebody pulls me in to, show me the music video for White and Nerdy before class. And that was just it, man. It's like the first time that I saw the music video for Bad Romance, or the first time I heard Bob O'Reilly on headphones. That song just dominated that entire year of my life. And through YouTube and Newgrounds, I got acquainted with the usual, Weird Al videos a lot of people saw. Albuquerque the Movie, Virus Alert, Everything You Know Is Wrong, Trapped in the Drive-Thru, Lost Rhapsody 1 and 2. All totally solid animations. Later I got introduced to UHF, and you can learn more about that on the UHF bonus episode. But yeah, it didn't take long to reach that point where I thought, this Weird Al guy, he's the all-time master of parody songs, and he should be cherished forever. And that's how all that started, as far as I can remember.
Hell yeah. Alright, my turn. So, you guys have been saying, it's like, oh, I discovered him when I was 12 or 11. I'm gonna play the trump card here. I discovered him far earlier than that. Weird Al has practically been a part of my life as far back as I could even remember. Probably since I could actually start developing memories. Because when I was 4 years old, one of my favorite things of all time, one of the things that captured my absolute imagination was Star Wars. And at the time, there was a little movie coming out called The Phantom Menace, for which Weird Al wrote a song to promote the movie in the tune of Don McLean's American Pie. Then that's how we got The Saga Begins. And for a while, if you asked 4-year-old me what my favorite song was, it was either that or Eiffel 65's Blue. It was one of those two. The most 1999 thing ever. I loved those songs to death. And I was really lucky to have had an uncle who bought I think he had bought my grandma a computer. And it was the computer that we would use whenever we would go to my grandma's house, and she had a whole ton of kids games for it. But on that computer that my uncle had as well, at some point, he had a little thing on it that will really date this called Napster. And on
Napster.
And on that Napster, he had a whole library of Weird Al songs that at some point my grandma had just burnt onto a CD and gave to 4-year-old me for car trips. So that's just kind of the start of my love for Weird Al, was just this little CD that my grandma gave to me when I was 4 or 5 that had My Lost on Jeopardy was one of them. Yoda was on there, another Star Wars one that I loved. Eat It. It's like, actually, my story with Eat It kind of like is like a little bit more different with Weird Al, because that was just a song that my parents would sing whenever I refused to fucking eat food as a kid. It's just they'd just start referencing Weird Al's Eat It, and it drove me fucking nuts. I'm just like, how dare you use this thing that I love against me? Flash forward like to 2008, so after the Straight Out of Linwood album had like released, Weird Al comes back into my life again, and I discover like an even larger like catalog of music. I talk about this briefly in the UHF bonus cast, which you can check out here. I discover that he made a movie, and like he's just this really big comedic force. And honestly, the rest was just kind of history. It's just like I rediscovered him, fell in love all over again with his music. And I would argue Weird Al is one of like maybe I would argue top 2 or 3 comedians to have fucking shaped like my sense of humor. It's like he's one of those like 3 kings. He's also I say this with shame, but also I say this with love, because I know I probably could have done better for my first concert, but at the same time, Weird Al I went to his mandatory concert in like 2015. That was my first concert. And
Joe, most people's first concert fucking sucks. Weird Al's not bad.
Hey, my first concert was The Who. Other people can suck it.
My first concert was canceled after the opening act because it wouldn't stop thunderstorming.
Oof.
Oh no.
But yeah, no, that the mandatory tour was my first concert, and other than my dad kind of being a absolute prick getting to the place, like it was a really fun concert, and I cherish that memory other than like the bad parts of it. And we flash forward to now, they made a movie about the life of Weird Al Yankovic. So we're going to get into our thoughts on Weird, the Al Yankovic story, based on the Funny or Die short right here, right now. We're going to start off with the one and only Tanner Richard Kraft. My boy, what are your thoughts on Weird, the Al Yankovic story?
So I didn't watch it.
Oh. What?
I've been busy. I haven't had time to watch it.
Fair enough.
I've seen the Funny or Die video it's based on with Aaron Paul. That one's pretty funny. It's a pretty funny video. But no, I haven't seen the movie. I've been busy. I'm dealing with some personal stuff.
It's on the Roku channel. Wait, you really didn't watch it?
No, I haven't seen it. The White and Nerdy music video is really good, though. So
Okay.
I like the Amish Paradise music video a lot.
that's a great one.
Austin, what are your thoughts on Weird, the Al Yankovic story?
I need a second. What do you mean? You didn't watch the movie?
Wait, did you think I was kidding earlier?
I don't know what to think anymore. Okay.
Weird.
The Al Yankovic story. Okay, so for a film that was shot in 18 days on an $8 million budget, this should be considered a miracle by the Catholic Church. Okay, maybe I'm like a little starstruck by all the famous people who obviously came out to support Weird Al and the project, but I also gotta hand it to a biopic that takes the time to include 2 full-length murder rampages. It's awesome seeing Funny or Die collide with Weird Al, because they both have something so huge that's in common. They both figured out a winning formula early on. Like Al definitely feels more like a permanent fixture at this point than Funny or Die does. But Funny or Die still figured something important out. That approach of getting recognizable celebrities to do absurd comedy skits, kind of like SNL, but they don't have to do it every week for an hour. And there aren't network TV censors. Just like, go back and watch the video that this movie's based on, and you could tell they figured out the key to something really hilarious. The movie itself, for me, it works best when it's diving completely off the rails. And surprisingly, there's not a whole ton of that kind of material in here. Between the moments where, like, Al's roommates are screaming and throwing plates, there's, like, a kind of real biopic happening with dramatic story beats and actual acting. Mind you, it's set in a backwards world where, like, Michael Jackson is a parody artist and accordions are the edgiest instrument you can play. But the material is being approached at, like, kind of a normal pace with a certain level of fake seriousness. And I guess if it were to just, like, go off the rails the entire time, it would just be UHF again. So maybe having the skeleton of a biopic underneath all the goofiness can make this thing more accessible to a larger crowd of people? I don't know. But again, I was having, like, the time of my life with the Pablo Escobar subplot. After everything melted away into a complete farce, I was losing it, man.
Pablo Escobar is in this movie?
Oh, baby. There's enough really funny moments in this that it leaves you in a good mood. That's one thing I noticed. I felt great after this movie. Al's dad telling the accordion salesman, "I told you to shut up," and then massively beating the shit out of him, even though he never told him to shut up in the first place. Or, rich Al Yankovic having a super heavy door to his house that he struggles to shut after Madonna comes in. Or the way Al keeps slamming the phone over and over while he's being informed about Michael Jackson on the phone. Just classic gags that pay off really well. So, yeah, I'm not exactly pulling this together in any eloquent kind of way. I'm just gonna punch my card instead. Weird the Al Yankovic story is a fun spoof of biopics that manages to be entertaining, even though Walk Hard seemingly covered everything back in 2007. It's a little bit inside baseball, so hopefully it plays well for people who don't know as much about Weird Al. I had a good time with it, even though I'd still consider UHF to be the better movie of the two. At the end of the day, though, we're in the bad timeline, where UHF didn't make any money. So we got robbed of dozens of Weird Al movies. And it's always good to see another one come to life, especially when it's made with as much love as this one was. Those are my thoughts. Back to you, Joe.
Pablo
Hell yeah.
Escobar?
Pablo Escobar.
Pablo Escobar. Tim, what are your thoughts on Narcos? I mean, Weird, the Al Yankovic story.
So Breaking Bad's pretty good.
I agree, Tim. How about Better Call Saul, though?
That one sucks. But
I'll see myself out.
It's a lot of fun. It's a great time. I think it's basically the only way you could make a Weird Al air quotes biopic. I say air quotes for the benefit of the audience that can't see me. But yeah, it's a lot of fun. It does kind of tread those Walk Hard waters, but like it's still like I think what makes it a little more fresh is that like this is, talking about like a real musician who is like a comedic musician, and like it's just I think Daniel Radcliffe really kills it in the role. Like I love how he was able to kind of it's like him and Elijah Wood and Robert Pattinson, like they did the fucking they did the YA book movies and then got to do their own fucking weird shit afterwards. Yep. And you gotta love it. You gotta love it.
Hold on, I resent lumping in Lord of the Rings with Harry Potter and Twilight.
Listen. So anyway. Yeah, movie's great. Movie's a lot of fun. Austin pretty much covered it, but there's a lot to like about it. It's a very entertaining ride. I like how it kind of goes into all of these different songs and just hams up the stories behind them. I did start to think like they were playing it a little too thick with the Eat It thing at first. Like when he goes into the agent's office and he's just like, this is not a parody song. This is an original song that's not based on any existing song whatsoever. Like they kept going at that. thread, and I started to think it was a little too much, but then once he gets the phone call about how Michael Jackson's making a song called Beat It, I'm like, okay, this is correct. This is how you approach this. Yeah, just lots of fun. Talk more about when we get into general thoughts. Back to you, Joe.
All right, so I'm going to try my hardest to not talk about any of the scenes and save it for general discussion. But I fucking loved this movie. This is probably the hardest I've laughed at, like, a straightforward, like, comedy within, like, the last, 15 years. Comedies don't, like, you have to, like, really put forth an effort. I'm playing with toothpicks. If that's picking up on the mic, I'll stop. Like, it takes a lot of effort to like, make me laugh at a comedy, and I think the added benefit of this being, like, based in air quotes off of Weird Al's life,
Based.
really helped out, like, the comedy elements of this. Because, yeah, this, like, if you're going into this expecting a traditional biopic, the fuck is wrong with you, first off? Like, have you been living under a rock for all these years? Secondly, speaking of the traditional, like, biopic formula, this is something that I've been wanting, like, fucking biopics to be doing for, like, ever at this point, because they all just follow the same fucking formula that Walk Hard parodied, and honestly, the formula should have fucking died after Walk Hard, but no. They all follow the same thing. Bohemian Rhapsody, Walk the Line, Ray, Elvis, all the same formula. And this movie fucking takes the formula, uses it to its advantage, and, like, actually works it into the artist that it's about. It's a fucking movie about a parody artist, and it's a parody of the biopics. It's fucking perfect. That's how you fucking do a movie like this. Tanner's, like, giving a weird-ass fucking look.
Austin's, like, room had a seizure. Like, it was a fucking 70s disco cocaine party in there for, like, 5 seconds. It was weird.
It is.
It's the LSD trip.
Damn you, son of a bitch!
Austin just cooler than the rest of us.
No, I think it's just because secretly he's a gay man from before the AIDS crisis. That's, like, how he lives his life.
When are you going to tell your husband?
Tanner ate the guacamole with the acid in it. That's the only reasonable theory.
Fuck! That explains it.
No one will ever believe you.
Anyway, back to the actual movie, the OC movie. I'm kidding. Anyway, yeah, like, yeah, oh yeah, the formula that this fucking movie takes. Yeah, no, it's perfect. Like, they use the formula and actually work in something that actually ties into the subject, and it's a parody of the formula. And more people should be like, okay, what can we do with a already established formula, but how do we make a movie that's, like, unique to the artist we're making it about? And that, like, I mean, there have been a couple of exceptions. The Elton John movie Rocket Man's one of them. I'm Not There, the Bob Dylan biopic, is definitely one of them. That's
6
a really
different
fucking
actors.
good one. Yeah, it's a really good fucking one. Watch that. And this one's no exception. It's Walk Hard, but with Weird Al, and it works fucking perfectly. Casting is fucking solid all across the board. Daniel Radcliffe is horribly fucking miscast in this, but that's what makes it perfect. Because you look at that man, and then you look at Weird Al. No, like, Weird Al is, like, this scrawny, really tall, weird-looking guy, not muscular in the slightest. And Daniel Radcliffe's this muscular, kind of handsome werewolf-looking motherfucker. Like, this should not work at all, but it's perfect.
Handsome like a werewolf.
I would argue that Evan Rachel Wood steals the fucking movie in this.
She is good as Madonna.
Because it's like, on the one hand, it's just really good fucking casting, and she's playing the hell out of it. But she's also seeing what she can get away with comedically. And a lot of the comedic bits, specifically with her, are some of the best points of the movie. Like she's crazy good in this. Yeah, it's like I'm starting to get to that point where I just want to talk about how funny this movie is. It might just be because I have a Weird Al bias, but this is one of my favorite fucking movies of the year. I really love this. Let's get into general discussion, guys. So, this movie has one of my... I would actually argue that this is the second best ending to a movie I've seen all year. Tanner, you have something.
I do. You both of you talked about Daniel Radcliffe. Now, I know I haven't seen the movie, but I do want to say that Weird Al apparently handpicked Daniel Radcliffe to play him. And Daniel Radcliffe, ladies and gentlemen, is Jewish. Just throwing that out there. Just throwing it out there.
Oh my God.
Just throwing that out there. They're fucking doing it again!
Tanner, take your medications. Anyway, so the ending to this movie is like I would probably say it's my second favorite ending to a movie all year.
He gets assassinated.
Well, the funny thing is, it's like they kind of play it off for laughs, and then they just keep fucking going with it. That's what makes it funny.
I love the picture of him just fucking getting obliterated. It's so good.
When Joe saw the movie, and I haven't seen it yet, I asked him, so I heard the ending is Weird Al died, and he kept being like, oh, I don't know. And I'm like, I saw the tombstone. It literally recreated shots from Metal Gear Solid 3 Snake Eater. Just tell me if that's the ending or not. And then Joe did tell me. That's a fun fact for you. This scene pays tribute to Metal Gear Solid 3 Snake Eater.
Well, it's also...
That is the only way.
I was going to say, it's also a Carrie reference, because the hand comes out of the grave.
Well, I didn't see that part. The way they framed the shots of, like, some woman looking at her at his tombstone, and then the tombstone is identical to a scene from Metal Gear Solid 3.
I was wondering, because I got asked by Sid while we were watching this, like, why does Madonna have a facial scar and an eye patch? And my guess was Ilsa, She-Wolf of the SS. Because I just had no idea they would, like, parody a Kojima game. But it's better if they did deliberately parody Metal Gear Solid 3. I found out something this morning that was fucking funny. I think it was, like March 1st, 1969, Jim Morrison had a meltdown in Miami at concert, and he called everybody slaves in the audience. He had that, "You're all a bunch of slaves" line, and you can actually
Dave the slave.
You can find audio of it on YouTube, the actual meltdown, I believe. Not the recreated version in the Oliver Stone movie. Like, just really drunk Jim Morrison digging into the audience and then being like, "I'm gonna show you my penis." It's crazy audio. And it was in the original short, and it's in this movie. I think the line, "You're all a bunch of slaves," is a great line.
God. Oh, man.
His roommates are really supportive. That was one thing that was really funny, was just how steadfast their support of him was.
Yeah, so he just comes out with the idea. It's like, oh, I wanna make parody songs. And they're like, oh yeah, you should do that, dude.
God, there's one point where they're talking about, like, oh, it's so nice to be out on our own because we don't have to deal with our parents. And one of his friends is like, yeah, last night I was driving and I didn't know if I was going to live to see tomorrow, if I was going to die in a fiery wreck. just says something absurdly dark out of nowhere while the rest of them are just, like, talking about getting stoned in your apartment. It was great. Sorry.
Yeah, I was just gonna say, like, going off that, I do love the part, like, right at the beginning when the dad wrecks the fucking accordion, and he fucking then Al just fucking storms out, and then it's like, so then a few years later, I graduated high school, and I was able to move out of my parents' house.
Things at home never got any better after that.
Yeah. Like, I love that the implication is that, like, he's leaving. It's just like, no, he still went to high school. He was still there for a couple more years.
It parodies the Boogie Nights fight with the mom scene, and then, it turns out, he stuck around.
Yeah.
It also parodies the Boogie Nights pool scene very directly.
Oh,
like,
yeah.
The shots are so similar, and I loved it.
And that's
Boogie
hard
Nights!
pass.
That whole fucking scene is full of, like, cameos, but it's also filled with cameos because it's like a bunch of famous people playing famous people. It's like you got like Dimitri Martin's Tiny Tim. Like who else is it? Conan O'Brien's Andy Warhol.
Jack Black is Wolfman Jack.
Jack Black is in this movie?
Jack Black is in this.
Yeah.
I'm in this movie?
Yep.
The Tenacious D guy is in the movie.
God, David Dastmalchian plays the guy from Queen. Our boy Polka Dot Man shows up.
One of the Lonely Island members plays Pee Wee Herman.
Oh yeah, Jorma Taccone, I think it is.
Finally. For
there-
years, the people have been saying they should get one of those guys to play
Yes, Tanner, very cool. Fingers.
Never mind. It's not worth it anymore.
There's a UHF cameo in that scene as well. It's Emo Phillips plays Salvador Dali.
Oh, hell yeah, playing the fish violin.
Salvador Dali.
Yeah.
I heard that in the beginning when he goes to LA, there's like a scene where he like takes off a little flyer on a little piece of a flyer to go audition for a band, and apparently there's an Easter egg where it's like Cooney's Karate School is also on the board. I think
Cooney's Karate School, it's there.
I'm convinced you guys are gaslighting me and half the shit you're saying is made up.
No,
Tanner, this movie doesn't actually exist.
You need to wake up, Tanner.
Oh, holy
Tanner.
shit! My wife, my children!
Tanner, the LSD in that guacamole was not that strong.
First it's acid, now it's LSD. I can't keep your story
Those are related, Tanner.
Fuck. What the fuck?
First it's PCP, then it's Angel Dust. When is this gonna stop?
Anyway.
Pull that shit up, Jamie. You ever done GMT? Look at that fucking gorilla. I'm gonna wake up and it's revealed I'm Joe Rogan.
No.
Oh no, we're on the wrong podcast.
Oh, fuck!
You ever done DMT?
Yeah, all of that is made at the factory, which, by the way, that is my favorite running gag of the year, is the factory.
No one tells you what they make there.
It's like, we don't know what it's just the factory. It's like, we don't know what the factory is, we don't know what they make there, it is just the factory.
You'll know what they make at the factory when you work at the factory.
And then he goes to work at the factory and he asks his coworker, "Hey, what do we make here?" And the guy just goes, "Your dad told me you were funny." Like,
Yeah, and you just never learn. It's just, you learn, oh, he has to turn the lever when it turns green, and then he has to turn it when it turns red.
my theory is it's like just the factory's only purpose on Earth is to kill people who work at the factory.
Man,
Yeah.
this must be what it
Capitalism.
feels like when I try to explain everything everywhere all at once to people that haven't seen it. This must be how they feel.
The Death Factory. It's like-
And then there's a raccoon on some guy's head, and that's around the time I lose them.
God.
the part where Rainn Wilson has 4 arms and is magically summoning Captain Crunch and then Raisin Brand.
You made that up. That's
No,
made
that's
that.
real.
That's
from
what?
the movie.
What?
It's during Weird Al's acid trip, because he eats the acid-filled guacamole.
Oh, you didn't just make that up. That's a thing in the movie. I thought Austin just pulled that out of his ass.
Yeah, no, that's a thing that happens in the movie. Is Dr. Demento, played by Rainn Wilson, is eating like nachos in Weird Al's hot tub in his bedroom. And
Dr. Demento?
Yeah, Dr. Demento, Weird
Yeah,
Al's mentor.
There was a radio station where when Weird Al was growing up in Linwood.
No,
and there was this-
I know who Dr. Demento is. I was just making sure I heard that right.
Yeah,
Oh,
Dr.
sure, yeah.
Yeah, Dr. Demento. He eats the acid-filled guacamole.
Oh God. So you know that scene where Madonna and Weird Al are getting hot and heavy and they're making out and rolling around? That was apparently, I think I heard somewhere that was one of the first scenes those two actors filmed together. So it's just like, "Hi, nice to meet you. I'm
Hell
Harry
yeah.
Potter," and then they just start getting hot and heavy. Good time.
But Austin, were they rolling around at the speed of sound?
That they have places to go. That they have to
Gotta
follow
the
a
rainbow.
They had to go fast. God. What was another scene I wanted to talk about in this?
I do. You brought up the Rainn Wilson, Dr. Demento thing. I do love, like, at the very end, he's just like, "I want to adopt you." And he's like, "Oh, yeah, I made up with my dad."
Yeah, that's great. That's great. Wow.
Speaking of that whole that scene towards the end, that has one of my favorite kind of in jokes about Weird Al, because they're announcing who the winner is for accordion player in a specific music of genre, and the two nominees are Weird Al and Prince.
Yeah.
And that's a fun little in joke because the only person that has ever turned down someone like Weird Al doing a parody was Prince. Like he's the
No,
only.
Eminem did too.
No, I think Eminem, for the Lose Yourself parody about TV, he just said Weird Al couldn't make a music video out of it, is what I heard. I could be
Yes.
wrong.
Oh,
Yeah, because
I
he
guess I
did make.
misunderstood that.
I was gonna say he did make the Lose Yourself parody.
Lose your mind watching TV. They told me, control me.
Wait, that exists?
Yeah.
Oh my god, it does.
My cable gets C-SPAN, TV, land, and HBO. Yeah, it's a
Mr.
real
Channel
stuff.
and Court TV and Lifetime. You better.
You better.
watch
God,
anything you want to, man.
But yeah, Prince is the one that just just was too good for everybody, and partially Coolio, but that ended up just being a misunderstanding that Coolio regretted later in life, because
Rest in
there was
peace.
that. When he did Amish Paradise, Weird Al, I think, was told by his record people, oh yeah, Coolio signed off on this, we talked to him. So they go ahead and they make Amish Paradise, and it's huge. And then Coolio, later in a public event, is just like, yeah, I did not give permission to that, what the hell? And Weird Al just didn't know what to do. It's like, well, the song exists, fuck! I was already told this was good! And so
Yeah.
you see Coolio in the movie getting upset when they do the Amish Paradise performance at the end.
God, R.I.P. Coolio.
Okay.
Drunk
Go ahead.
Daniel Radcliffe. This is in the subgenre of movies where a former alcoholic has to play an alcoholic. So you know it's got to be good.
Oh, yeah.
There's a
Forgot
scene
about
where
that.
he's going off on one of his bandmates, and he just does the basic mimicry voice. It's just like his bandmate's like, "Wow, the fame's really gotten to you," and Al's like, the fame's gotten to you," and the guy gives him the saddest look ever, and it's just like, "Ow." And like he seriously, like, the little mimic voice just eviscerated his soul.
We've all been
Great
there.
with the gags.
God.
Sometimes the mimic voice really gets to you.
We've all been fighting with a 5-year-old who pulled that one out. You can't respond to that. That's an auto win. Like, there's no
breaks
winning
you.
against that.
Yeah. God.
What do you do? Mimic them? Then you're just mimicking a mimicking of yourself, and then you've just lost.
You tell the 5-year-old, I could replace you with a drum machine.
It's like,
You tell
"Can
the 5-year-old.
I don't know what I can replace you with, but I can replace you with a machine." God, what else happens in this movie that we get to? The way that he writes his songs, my fucking god.
It's the literal thing that some biopics do, where it's just the most literal possible way the song could have come about. Like,
Yeah.
staring at a piece of bologna or a package of bologna on the counter,
Bologna.
while My Sharona on a radio station is just constantly skipping over the line, My Sharona. Just shameless. Beautiful.
The the one towards the end, it's like, so you may have noticed I've gotten fat. I'm fat. You know it.
And Weird Al almost goes back and makes that his final song, and his parents tear into him. Like, Al, we were having a conversation. I just showed you the storybook.
Read the room.
God, what was the other one? The Like a Surgeon one, where it's like the Lin-Manuel Miranda cameo.
Yeah, Lin-Manuel's in this shit. Hell
Yep.
yeah.
Communism.
Better give me all your gauze, nurse.
Did you guys hear Adam Driver was the second pick if Daniel Radcliffe couldn't do it?
What?
Another Jew. I'm
Yeah,
noticing
this-
a trend.
You talk about Daniel Radcliffe being miscast. They almost cast the villain of the new Star Wars movies to play the guy who did White and Nerdy.
he gets the call about Michael Jackson. I want every gun we have to fire on that man.
Honestly, though, Adam Driver as Weird Al just makes sense in my head. Like, you say that to me, and I'm like, yeah. I don't know why.
I
They
mean,
both have weird. They have weird faces. The both of them do.
I mean, we've all seen Inside Llewyn Davis. That man's a comedic musician.
You know, you're right, and we've all
Outer
seen Marriage Story, so we
space.
know he could have brought the gravitas needed to this performance. Every day I wake up,
I wake up and
accordion.
make bologna.
Every day I wake up.
Every day I wake up and eat it.
Cries while playing accordion. Plays Hurt by Johnny Cash on accordion.
Yeah, I really can't
Hurt by
believe...
Johnny Cash.
So, like I said, this was like an 18-day shoot, $8 million. And I cannot believe what they pulled off in the action scenes in this. Like, specifically the scene in the diner. They have a Mr. Robot moment where his girlfriend gets kidnapped in the middle of a seemingly normal conversation. And then, who I assume is Daniel Radcliffe's stunt double, goes to town on like 10 different assassins. And that's really impressive for a Funny or Die production. Like, this is the company that brought you Tim and Eric's billion-dollar movie. And now they're choreographing beautiful scenes where Weird Al takes on an army of goons. Oh, and the Hey Boy!
The Hey Boy!
The Hey Boy! Just in the beginning, you've got just like, oh yeah, man, use a Hey Boy. And then later you've got this parody of the UHF Rambo scene where these Colombian guards are ready to blow Weird Al away, and they're like, wait a minute, it's a Hey Boy! And they're like speaking in Spanish, and the only words in English are Hey Boy. I loved it.
Oh my god. Yeah, the bizarre action sequences of this are fucking perfect. And
Evan Rachel Wood just trying to kill him over and over again after he turns her down, like being in the drug cartel with her, and she's just firing a million shots, and you're watching Daniel Radcliffe walk away out of frame, and just all these explosives are going off around him. Like, it's great.
God, yeah. That's a story plot I did not expect this movie to go down, was Evan Rachel Wood as Madonna taking over the fucking drug cartel.
I mean, Madonna did say in an early interview she wanted to rule the world when she grows up, so
Fair.
she finally got it.
Yeah.
She's gonna die another day.
God.
I'm happy there was an Albuquerque reference in the Pablo Escobar sequence. Shout out to the Columbia Records Club.
Oh yeah. Whoa, hang on there, baby. I'm not ready for that kind of a commitment. I will say this though, like, as funny as it is that it's a parody of like the first time like an artist plays in front of like an audience and it goes really well, I will say the I Love Rocky Road segment fucking slaps.
It's true.
Like even as a parody of like those like generic scenes in a movie, I'm pumped and I'm having a good time.
The,
And so
the lesbian from the movie Bros goes up to the bartender and is like, "Hi, I'll have a vodka and a rum raisin." And he's like, "We don't serve ice cream." And she's like, "You better serve ice cream by the end of this song, or you're gonna have a riot on your hands."
Yep. And fucking Patton Oswalt's there. God,
I
what's
think
his...
Patton Oswalt was gonna be Dr. Demento again, but like something came up, like he broke a bone or got COVID or something, and so he was torn down to that cameo. I think maybe
sounds about right.
He was in his element though. Like that's exactly where Patton Oswalt should be, just heckling musicians.
Exactly. God, who else was in that scene? Because I know there's like another cameo. It's fucking Morris Fletcher from X-Files.
Kanye West.
Michael McKean, that's the actor's name. He also shows up. He's the one that introduces Weird Al.
Yeah. Apparently, Weird Al, early on in his career, he opened up for a band called Missing Persons, and it was one of his like earlier like live performances. Like he did okay on the college campus, and then when he finally opens up for a real band, they just tried to McMurder him. He was just like that band in Roadhouse where they just throw beer bottles at the fucking band the whole time.
Sorry, I want to backtrack briefly. You said Michael McKean's in this movie?
Yeah.
Tim, where does this fall in the Better Call Saul timeline, you think?
Right around chicanery.
Okay, good. This is right before the meltdown.
I still think UHF is a better movie, because I think if we were to go to general discussion for like 45 minutes, we might actually have a chance of listing every funny thing that happens in this movie, whereas I do not think that's possible for UHF. That is one thing I still admire more about UHF, is because of the weak structure of the movie, they were able to fit in so much more dumb shit. And, I don't know. The dumb shit is what appeals to me. But this one, like,
That's
the gags, you could say they're funnier when they do happen. That could be a real thing.
Yeah. God. Yeah, that's the thing about UHF, is that there's a lot more, like in the background gags that you kind of pick up as you go along, or like jokes that it takes a hot minute for you to understand, or heck, you're laughing at one joke and kind of like miss the other. It's kind of like how the Zuckers do their comedy, which it's very fitting because Weird Al has worked with the Zuckers. He's in all 3 Airplane movies.
Oh,
Not Airplane.
Naked Gun.
Naked Gun.
There we go.
Yeah, he's in all the Naked
It's
Gun
like when they
movies.
make a third one.
Weird Al's actually in the Kentucky Fried Movie during the segment Catholic High School Girls in Trouble. He's one of the Catholic high school girls who's in
God
trouble.
damn it. God damn it. Kentucky Fried Movie is a thing that exists.
Oh, yeah. Early
It's one of those
inspiration.
movie 43 ass fucking things, right?
Yeah, kind of.
I'd say it's better than Movie 43, but yeah. Then again, better than Movie 43 is like the lowest bar to clear. Like, I accidentally, when I took a shower this morning, I pooped beforehand and then had to leave the apartment quickly after. So I forgot to flush the toilet. And that stale shit that was sitting in my toilet was better than Movie 43.
Absolutely. 100%.
Yeah, but that didn't have the same star power as movie 43.
Unfortunately not. God, Movie 40, what the fuck? Hugh Jackman, balls on the neck.
Not even James Gunn could save movie 43, and his fucking skit was like cut from the movie originally.
Yeah, Dweezil was the cat's name, whatever
Yeah.
that thing's name was. I've actually found that skit to be very mean-spirited, which is why I like Weird Al, because the comedy isn't mean-spirited. Unless you're an accordion salesman. You are the one mean-spirited joke in the movie.
It's like you're either the accordion salesman or you're Will Forte screaming at Weird Al in front of Weird Al.
Did you guys know Will Forte had to practice for weeks in order to get that stunt where you have a cigarette put out on you done properly? He had to
What?
put cigarettes out on himself 100 times and develop calluses on his hand. So that when
God.
Daniel Radcliffe put that cigarette on him, he wouldn't immediately break into tears and shit his pants.
Will Forte's in this movie?
Yeah, Will Forte's in this.
Who isn't in this movie?
People love Weird Al. Everyone shows up.
No, I agree, but like next you're gonna tell me Daniel Day-Lewis shows up as Galactus in this movie.
No, he doesn't.
Tanner, I have news.
Oh, that's the post-credit scene.
There is a post-credit scene.
There is, yes. There's a fucking post-credit song even. The fucking
Yeah.
the one that's
now
on.
you know.
Yeah, it's Oscar eligible.
Yeah, I love that they kept doing those like bits like this song is technically Oscar eligible.
It's not though.
Except it's not.
Because Weird Al begged Roku. He's like, play it in an LA movie theater for a week, and they just wouldn't do it.
Yeah, it went straight to Roku channel. It's only eligible for Emmys.
Boo.
Rude.
What? Weird Al should parody songs again.
I would love that.
He probably will. He still makes albums. He just kind of goes away for a little bit.
I need him to parody some of this fucking TikTok songs, okay? I really need the Weird Al parody of A, B, C, D, E, F, U.
No.
A B C D E F G H.
Yeah, I imagine he just does the actual alphabet in melody. That's all it is. But Weird Al would like have a sick ass accordion solo
Yeah, he
in the
would.
middle of it.
Honestly, that would probably, if I were to guess that being on a Weird Al album, it'd probably be like during one of his polka mashups, that he does with every album.
A, B, C, D, E, F, U. I don't even hate that song like other people is. I think it's an okay song. How the fuck is it nominated for Record of the Year at the Grammys? I still, who made that decision?
Well, remember, the Grammys are a fucking joke. They're the butt of
All
the.
awards shows are.
They all are. Like, they're the butt of the joke on The Simpsons.
Louis
they're
C.K. won a Grammy a couple of years ago. I mean,
It's not an award that's worth winning, according to Homer J. Simpson.
It would be interesting trying to see Weird Al parody, like, new songs. Like, what's he gonna do? a parody of Kendrick Lamar's "Humble" about the Brian Gumble. Like, what's he gonna fucking do? It had to be hard back in like 2008 because it's like, oh, hip hop's big. I gotta adjust and be very careful about this. But like, what's he gonna fucking do now? You know, like music's gotten very different, dude.
Sit down. Chew gumballs. Sit down.
Sit down.
Chew gumballs.
For
I don't know. That feels doable.
For some reason, Weird Al's agent thinks it's a really good idea for him to parody the song that's the suicide hotline number. Who can relate? Woo!
I mean, to be fair, that song parodies itself by going, "I don't want to die. Who can relate? Woo!" Like, I'm suicidal. Who can relate? Like, okay, yeah. Woo. I mean, I don't. It's the woo. It's the fucking woo that just knocks me out every goddamn time. Who's going through a hard time? Woo! My grandma just died. Woo! Like, it fucking kills me.
We should get the Weird Al parody of the Fortnite Balls song.
Fortnite balls, I'm gay, I like boys, I kidnap autistic kids, little Mosey is white. It's just the same song, except it's an accordion beat instead of the beat that it is normally.
Yeah, there we go.
God.
I'm glad we got Fortnite balls in here.
Yeah. Weird Al does Chug Jug with you.
Here we got #1 victory, Royale. Yeah, Fortnite, we about to get down. 10 kills on the board right now. Just wiped out Tomato Town.
You know, honestly, I would like to hear him do just a cover of that, because that'd just be interesting.
And he calls the kid who did Chug Jug with you instead of Kanye West who did American Girl or whatever the original song was.
No, that's what I would do. It's kind of like how Vanilla Ice, when that like 6-year-old guy, that 6-year-old kid that was really big on YouTube for like doing covers of rap songs. It's like when Vanilla Ice hopped on his version of Ice Ice Baby. So like around the 2010, there was like a 5-year-old child named Maddie who like did covers of rap songs, but they were kids bopified. But he was actually rapping. And when he did Ice Ice Baby, Vanilla Ice hops on and he does the third verse.
Nice. Nice.
This exists. I swear to God, I'm not making it up. It's very funny.
Do you guys... one thing I was thinking, this may be too bullshit, but like, I want more comedies like this. Does this feel kind of against the grain to anybody else? Like, we don't get movies like this enough?
Yes.
Or is that just some dumb bullshit?
I think
feel
every
like-
studio comedy should just be Tag again. I think they should just keep releasing Tag.
I feel like we just don't get enough like studio comedy movies anymore.
Nothing is just a comedy ever. It's always comedy and something else.
Like I can look back at the early 2000s comedies and like a lot of them haven't aged very well, but like at least there was something.
Like, I look back at The Hangover like, man, we didn't know how good we had it.
We were like, I like when we try to at least have like a connective tissue between all of us that's based in laughter. Instead of, like, I don't know, the movie needing to resort to drama at some point, or, like, I don't know how the well of comedy got tainted along the way. But, like, I just like us attempting, even if the jokes don't age well, because we'll just update the standards and try to make more comedies, right?
Every fucking comedy is trying to make me cry now, and it's pissing me off.
You know who I blame? I blame Judd Apatow. I blame that man. 100%.
He made funny people and destroyed everything.
The frustrating thing is Judd Apatow is still the only one who's, like, really good at doing that. Well, I mean, The Bubble notwithstanding. The Bubble was horrible, but...
Right.
The King of Staten Island was fucking great. Judd Apatow's the only...
That was a dramedy, though.
Yeah, that's
I know.
dramedy.
Yeah, no, I know. What I'm saying is Judd Apatow's the only one that's good at making those types of dramedies. Everyone else is trying to copy him, and they're not nearly as good at... Like, I just brought up Tag as, like, the funny studio comedy. And yeah, it's a great funny studio comedy until the sudden third act reveal where it's like, oh, by the way, Ed Helms has cancer. Just out of fucking left field, he's like, yeah, I'm gonna die, guys. Like, what the fuck? I thought this was a silly, goofy movie where Jeremy Renner's really good at Tag. And now it's like, by the way, cancer.
Hey, Tanner, Tag, Love and Thunder.
God. Oh my God, yeah, kinda.
Honestly, I'm gonna be honest about like studio comedies here, and like tie it in with Weird the Al Yankovic story. So something that I genuinely miss that Weird the Al Yankovic story has is a very cartoonish and anarchic spirit, which I feel is missing from just straightforward comedies. Because again, they're shot flat. They're told very flat. The humor's very fucking dry. That's why I fucking blame Judd Apatow. I genuinely miss the era where comedies kind of just felt like fucking cartoons, because I think back to some of my favorite comedies. Caddyshack, the Naked Gun trilogy, Airplane, fucking the National Lampoon's Vacation movies. They feel like fucking cartoons. And, like, they have, like, this beautiful anarchic spirit to it. Like, hell, say what you want about how well this fucking aged. Animal House. What makes that movie funny is just how fucking anarchic that movie is. And that's something that I genuinely miss from comedies. It's just anarchy and cartooniness. I think we need to embrace cartooniness and anarchy in comedies again.
I'll say this, though. Like, this year we got Weird the Al Yankovic story. We got the Bob's Burgers movies. And last year we got Reno 911, The Search for QAnon. So straight comedies are back on the menu, boys. Let's go.
Don't forget the best comedy of the year, Tim, The Banshees of Inisherin.
Yeah, there we go. Nothing funnier
completely
than
unrelated.
I
just want to say
at the door.
The Banshees of Inisherin is a dark comedy, and when I went to saw it, I was the only person in the theater laughing, which made me feel very awkward.
Tanner, that was me during the menu. No one else laughed.
You know what? No, that happened to me too, Austin. I was the only fucker laughing at half the jokes in the menu. Tyler's bullshit comes on the screen. I'm busting a gut, and these two like fucking twinks behind me are like,
We gotta go back to when things were cartoony and not afraid to go completely apeshit and break the structure of stuff. I think one problem is, like, people pay too much attention when, like, anyone on Twitter says, oh, it's LOL XD random humor. Like they just let that discredit their whole screenplay and bury it. It's like, yeah, be random. Fuck it. That's like one approach.
You know what? A movie, like one of my favorite studio comedies of this year was The Unbearable Weight of Massive Talent. And even that one threw in some, like, drama tearjerker bullshit in the third act.
Yeah.
And it was also, like, an action movie.
Don't get me wrong. It was effective. But, like, it's just, like, not even the weird movie where Nick Cage plays himself is allowed to be a straight comedy.
Yeah.
God, that's upsetting. Because I forgot that happened, and I forgot that it becomes... Yeah, it becomes a drama at a certain point.
Or Clerks 3. Clerks 3 gets really dark.
Oh, yeah. Oh, Clerks 3. Yeah.
That movie gets so fucking dark out of, like, nowhere. Like, can spoil Clerks 3 to explain this to Austin?
Do you want to know what happens?
Austin, okay, the main character of the Clerks movies dies.
Wait, James Silent Bob die?
No. Like, what's his name?
Dante dies.
Dante dies. He has a heart attack and dies.
He wasn't even supposed to die that day.
Exactly.
His last words are, "I'm not even supposed to be here today," and then he has a heart attack and McFucking die. First of all, the movie starts off with the reveal that Rosario Dawson's character apparently died like 6 months after the events of Clerks 2.
Yeah,
while pregnant.
That shit got me hard. Like, I wasn't expecting that. I was like, oh.
I'm sorry, I know this is the Weird Al, but I'm just talking about how movies aren't allowed to just be funny anymore. They have to have, and I mean, in Clerks 3 case, that was Kevin Smith working through stuff. I'll excuse that.
Yeah, that one has, like, the exception, because, like, we all know, Kevin Smith almost fucking died of a heart attack.
Or, you know, The Northman. That movie had weird incest.
Everyone's favorite comedy from Robert Eggers.
The Northman. Or Butter. Butter exists.
And that itself is funny.
I think rom-coms maybe still exist. Wasn't there that Lost City movie?
Yeah,
that was mostly a comedy.
The Lost City was pretty good. Joe and I got to saw that.
That was.
I've heard good things about Tickets to Paradise. Bros, Austin. I mean, Bros.
Bros
come on.
is good. Yeah. And Bros doesn't ever take the stakes too high, but it does have that underpinning thing where it's just like very serious shit about like AIDS and stuff gets brought up.
Right.
I
Which,
don't
I
even
mean,
know if
that's
that
what a
discredits it,
rom-com
though.
is, though. Rom-coms have to get serious at some point. That's
You're
the
right.
rom part.
Rom-coms are like the closest we've got to comedy, which throws away a demo that is so fucking important, which is just dudes. Just people who are trying to be fucking dudes don't have comedies anymore.
We need to bring the frats back to the theater.
This is why we do what we do. This is why we have Conspiracy 182, Maguire Man, Onwards and Upwards, Anarcho-Bidenists. This is why we're here.
We're doing the Lord's work.
Our demo is 18 to 32-year-old males exclusively. We're here to save their asses from boredom.
32-year-old men in fraternities. I said that as a joke, but that person probably exists.
Oh yeah,
Person
Van Wilder
absolutely
is
exists.
real. Van
That
Wilder
person's
is-
actually just Austin's brother.
My brother is I'm not saying his job on public. He's a good guy. He's not in a frat.
He's a fraternity man. I can prove it too. Look at this photograph.
Yeah.
Look at this graph.
So,
Sorry.
sorry, Joe.
I was gonna say we're a little over an hour. If you wanted to get your thought in there, I figured I'd at least just bring that up. We're hitting an
No,
hour.
I'm just glad that we talk about like the macro scale of it, because I don't know what the fuck is going on, and I think it's a massive discussion with a lot of variables going into it, and it's nice to, like, you can just feel it radiating off this movie. You're like, this is a breath of fresh air. I normally, like, after a comedy, I don't feel super good like this, and there's, like, no weird pitfalls and shit. The whole ending is a joke. It's like, I hope we can maybe get more movies like this. I don't know if an $8 million movie on the Roku channel is going to tip the scales, but it would be a nicer future than that, like, depressing shit we've got now.
Exactly. I'm 100% on board with that. However, with that, we are hitting an hour. We're gonna go a little bit over, and we're gonna wrap things up. We're gonna go on final thoughts. Tanner, you didn't even see the movie, but do you have any final thoughts? Do you want to watch the movie after hearing our discussion?
I'm gonna watch All Dogs Go to Heaven 2 for the 20th time in my life.
There you go. You're gonna watch The Preacher's Wife soon after.
Hell yeah, brother!
All right, Austin. Final thoughts.
Son, your father and I had a long conversation, and we just think you should stop doing what you love and being yourself. And as my final concluding thought, let me be your hog!
Austin showing hog. Austin showing hog.
It's a UHF reference. Tim, final thoughts.
It's weird. It's Al. At times, it's even Yankovic. What more could you want?
Exactly.
Oy vey.
Exactly. He's not Jewish though, Tanner.
Listen, Weird Al is like Austin. You have to say, but Weird Al is like a Jew in spirit, right?
Yeah, canonically, he's an honorary Jew.
Like if the Jews had a pope, they'd make him a saint.
Tanner said it best.
All right, my final thoughts are out of the two movies that Weird Al was in, and like this year, this is the better one to watch. Don't watch that fucking animated movie Weird Al did this year. But yeah, no, it's a really fun comedy. I gave it a 5 stars. Might be biased on my end, but I think a lot of people that are just kind of discovering Weird Al seem to be getting a kick out of it. Like, people seem to really be digging this. So it's available for free on the Roku channel. It's free to sign up for it. You just got to have ads play during the movie. It's well worth your time. So go check it out. And on that note, we're going to wrap this bonus cast on Weird, the Al Yankovic story up. Thank you for listening to this podcast. If you're watching this on YouTube, firstly, you've got a lot of patience to just be watching a visualizer for a little bit over an hour, and I applaud your efforts. I'm actually going to applaud that. But that is crazy. You should actually just be listening to that on our Spotify, which we have. Go check us out there, or on our Apple Music podcast thing. We're on all the podcast platforms. Go check us out there. But if you are on YouTube, go down to the comment section. Let us know what you think of Weird the Al Yankovic story. Are you a fan of Weird Al Yankovic? What's your favorite song by Weird Al? He's got a lot of really good songs in his catalog. Let us know that. While you're down there, hit the like button so we know how much you like us. Hit that subscribe button so we know how much you love us, and hit the bell icon so Tanner can break into your home while he's laughing at something that's on his phone. It's actually kind of distracting.
It's relevant. Sorry, I told Ethan about if the Jews had a pope, they'd make him a saint, and he said in response, Weird Al will be to Judaism as Islam is to Christianity.
God damn. All right, but yeah, like, subscribe, bell icon, the podcast networks. The bonus casts are all uncensored, but our regular podcasts are uncensored only on the other podcast platforms that aren't YouTube. Check us out there. Check out our Twitch page. We got a Patreon. If you go donate money there, We'll do something fun. We'll make the next best studio comedy. There you go. If we get like X amount of money, we'll make the next best studio comedy.
I will personally hit Austin's fucking colors.
Yes,
Tanner. I am the color out of space.
Got him.
Fuck!
there we go. Check out our Twitch page. We've been getting back into live streams. Tim's been doing a couple. I might do a couple here at some point. And
watch me play some Sonic.
Watch him play
God
Sonic.
willing, I might do it again eventually. We'll see.
Yeah. Other than that, I don't know when the next bonus cast is gonna be. I know at some point one of them's gonna be 30 Days a Night. One of them might be the Guardians Holiday Special. We're probably gonna have a discussion about that soon after, so we'll let you know about that.
Guardians is gonna be a vidcast, Joe. I will edit that.
Okay. Can I host that one?
I mean, yeah.
Awesome. All right.
Actually, hold on. Do you want to edit it so I don't have to?
Dude, I'm gonna be really fucking busy coming up.
Then I'll do it. I'll do
Okay.
it.
So
It's worth a shot.
and I've also got another vidcast that I need to try and get out by the end of the year, which
Joe,
is
I thought you were taking us home, Joe.
yeah. Yeah. We'll save the business talk for after this recording is finished. Thanks again for tuning in. We'll see you all later. Goodbye.
Wakanda forever.
No. No. Alright, stop.
They slid my ticket across the table and I said, sorry guys, I gotta see about a girl.